Hey YouTube, this is Robert Ness816 and I have a little repair video. So this one is basically me fixing two Genesis controllers. So this one has what I suspect to be a bad IC chip in it. Basically everything works except for A and C, and this one had a bad cord, which is why I cut it. Other than that, I actually don't know if this one is good, if the IC chip in this one is good. But anyways, what I'm going to do is take the cord from this controller and put it onto this one, and we'll see if it works. So the way how I determined that the IC chip is bad is I basically, with the controller apart, I was playing around with the button membranes, and only the B button would work and start, but A and C would not. And checking the traces with a continuity tester showed that the traces were still good, so either it's a problem with these resistors here that go up to it, or this chip right here is bad. So we'll find out in a couple minutes. Okay, so we've got the cord unsoldered from the presumably bad board. And I'm not going to throw this out. I'm going to keep this because you never know. I might come across one with corroded contacts in the future, and I might just be able to swap out this chip or yeah, basically this chip. These resistors all tested fine, so I'm pretty damn sure it's this chip that's bad. And I think what might kill these chips is from maybe plugging the controller in while the console's on, or unplugging it or something. Maybe the shock kills it. But yeah, you never know. In the future, I might come across one of these with a board that has connectors on it that are, or contact points on it that are corroded or something like that beyond repair. So this one appears to be in really nice shape, at least. So the board that I'm soldering the new connector to is actually in very nice shape. You can see it has hardly any usage on it. So when these things have a lot of use, there's usually a deep divot cut into the top of the circuit board right here from the directional pad, and this one has none of that. So, and it's in nice shape overall, so it's a really good candidate. So I'm just going to unsolder the what's left of the cord. You can see I snipped it off of here just so I can remind myself that the cord was bad. And basically with this one, the plug was actually the bad part. I did that by testing for resistance, or continuity, I should say, between the connector and these pins right here. And basically I snipped. It wasn't making connection, I think, through one through, where was it? I don't remember which one it was actually. I think it was the half of the top row, I think, wasn't making connection. So testing from here to here, it wasn't making full connection. So after I determined that the cord was bad, I snipped it off at the plug and tested the wires in here to here, and they all worked. So basically the plug itself is what was bad. So this one has a good wire, so I will, put this one on here, and I'm just going to unsolder all these right now and wish for the best. Okay, so something I've done here is I've actually sucked away all of the old solder. I'm not really too sure how well you can see that, but this will make it much easier for when I go to reinstall the new cable. I did take a picture so I know where the wires go. And if not, if that fails, then I also have the controller socket on a Genesis to use as a reference, since on my particular console it actually has the pins properly labeled. So let's get back to putting this back together. Okay, so soldering is complete, and the last thing to do now is check the board and make sure it works. So we'll go upstairs and see what happens. Fingers crossed. Okay, so we're back and we have the repaired controller, which I actually used to fix two controllers. And this controller was not broken. What I did with this one was simply swap out the shell. So this is the old shell to that controller, and here's the new shell. Cleaned it all up and everything. The reason being is that this one had less wear. The buttons on it had less wear, and the membranes were in better condition. So overall, the shell on the controller just had much less wear on it. I then took that board, which was in a nicer shape, and actually used it in this controller here. So this controller has a really clean shell with hardly any usage on it. This one was also broken, and I had swapped out the board in this one for another one. And basically, so yeah, this controller now has a very nice working board in it. And it is in very nice condition now, so it works and does everything it's supposed to. This is the one that I soldered the cable onto that other board with the snipped cable, so it works now. So I can demonstrate that to you kind of in Kid Chameleon. So that's B. Oops, gotta get some momentum here. But, so pushing A and B makes you run. Oops. Which one is that one? I don't know what it is. Ah, come on. Crap. Oh yeah, A. A makes you run, so I'm going to die here, but I don't really care. So anyways, A works, B works, does what it's supposed to do. And that's all that matters. So it works. I'm very happy. So that one controller that I got was able to fix 2 controllers. And this one, I guess I'll keep around the shell. I'll keep around for parts and stuff. You can see it's got like little blemishes and stuff all over it. And it's got some wear on the bottom here. But, you know, I mean, you know, whatever. Maybe if I get one that's in worse shape, I'll swap out the shell again and put that one back on. But, yeah, this one's in nice shape, though. I got my the camera light on, so it's like reflecting off everything. But, yeah, I mean, this one's in good shape, so whatever. Can't expect this stuff to be perfect for being, you know, 25 plus years old at this point. But anyway, the main thing is that it works. And I've also taken that Genesis that I got at the flea market and made it into my main console now. So it's working really good. And that's it, guys. That's a wrap.